Hello all, welcome to the part 2 of the deep learning from the scratch, and in this video we'll concentrate on one single neuron. So let me quickly go through the new slide. So as you see, there is only one neuron here and there are these three inputs. So x1, x2 and x3 are the inputs that is going through the hidden layer here, which has only one neuron, and it comes out, and this is the output layer which predicts the y hat. So as usual, I will say this is the zeroth layer. Basically the input layer is the zeroth layer, and this is the first layer, and this is the second layer. And as a quick recap, I'll say n of 0 that we saw in the last video. So number of neurons or nodes in the zeroth layer is nothing but 3. Similarly, number of neurons in the first layer is nothing but 1. Number of neurons in the second layer is also 1, because in the second layer there is only one neuron. Now let us see how calculations are made inside a neuron. So basically there are two operations that are made in the neuron. So the first operation is nothing but the weights and bias calculation. So this is the first step that will happen, and the second step is the activation function. So every neuron actually processes these two things inside them. So first we'll look into the weights and bias calculation. So what is weights? So weights are nothing but every time there is an input that is being sent to a neuron, right? So it will be accompanied by a small numerical value called the weight. So let us denote that by W1. So this is W1 of the first layer. So this is going to the first layer, right? So anything that is in the superscript denotes the layer. So similar to what we had, right, in the number of neurons or nodes that we had in the superscript, we had the layer name, which is the layer number. So similarly, we'll have the layer number here. So this is another weight 2, and again this is in the first layer, and again we'll have the weight 3 here, weight 3 in the first layer. So these are the three weights here. Similarly, here we'll have W1 in the second layer. So now if you take a look at this particular neuron here, so you can see three arrows are coming inside this one. So these three arrows are accompanied by x1 W1 of 1, and x2 W2 of 1, and x3 W3 of 1. So these three inputs are coming inside this particular neuron. So that calculation will be made now. So we'll see what calculation it is, and for this calculation we'll denote that as is it. So this is it of the first layer. So we are calculating for this neuron which is in the first layer. So I'm writing it as is it. In the superscript I'm writing as 1, because this corresponds to the first layer, equals to, let us concentrate on the first one. So this is the x1, and it is gonna be multiplied with the w1. So we can write it as x1 into w1 of the first layer, plus again there is another input that is coming inside here, which is x2, and it is going to be multiplied with w2 of the first layer. So let me write x2 multiplied with w2 of the first layer, plus, and again we have the x3 here, which is going to be multiplied with w3 of 1, x3 which is going to be multiplied with w3 of 1 here, 1, exactly that. So this is how these weights are multiplied with the inputs, and after this is done, we'll add a small positive value to this. We'll add one small positive value which is called as bias. So once we calculate the z value, the first thing is done. Now we need to concentrate on the second one. So we need to apply some functions called as activation functions to the output that we got here. So this is the output that we got, which is basically z1. So inside z1 we need to apply some activation functions. So we are going to apply an activation function in this particular neuron, which is in the first layer. So that is g of 1. G of 1 indicates that this is an activation function. That this is an activation function, and this activation function is being applied on this value, on the previous value that we got. So that is why we mentioned z of 1. So the z value that is computed from the first layer is being applied towards a activation function g of 1. This activation function can be anything like it can be ReLU, which is rectified linear unit, or it can be tanh function, or it can be sigmoid function, it can be softmax function. So why this activation function is applied? Because our numerical values may be higher. So one of the reason is to make those values into a proper scale, into a specified range of a scale, so that we use activation function. And the other reason is that our neural networks may have a very complex patterns. In order to match those complex patterns, we definitely need this nonlinear activation functions. So we will also discuss all these activation functions, why are they used, how are they used, when they should be used in a detailed video. But remember that once our z value is computed, it should be applied with an activation function. And this activation function applied value is what we call as a of 1. So basically the output that is finally generated from this particular neuron here is a1. So this a1 is generated after two things. The first thing is nothing but the weights calculation, so the weights and bias calculation, and the second thing is nothing but the activation function. So that is what the two things that a neuron actually does. So this output a1 from this neuron becomes the input to this neuron. Again, this neuron is also undergoes two things, the weights and bias calculation and the activation function. After that, this y hat is calculated. So that is how it is basically mentioned. So the output of this one will be a of 2, because this output of particular neuron is a, and 2 is nothing but this is of the second layer. And since this is being the output layer, this y hat value will be actually equal to a of this second layer. And similarly, since this is called a of 1 and this is called a of 2, and we call this inputs x1, x2, x3 at times as a of 0. And actually now I have shown you everything in a very linear way, but all these things actually happen in a matrix way. Now we'll look into how that matrix actually works. I'm just using a new slide here so that we calculate the matrix formats. I just have the z value here and the a value here. But before going into the matrix format, I want to introduce you to some new things. So ultimately here also we are going to calculate z of 1. So this z of 1 here is equal to nothing but last time we just introduced two parameters, the weights parameters and the bias parameters, right? Similarly, here we are also going to use the weights parameters and the bias parameters, but in a matrix form. So let me tell you how that works. So basically, I'm going to introduce you to a new variable called capital W of the first layer. So this is capital W of the first layer multiplied with x, so which is the input, plus the bias that is going to be added with the first layer. So what is this capital W? This capital W is nothing but the matrix format of the smaller w weights here. And similarly, this x is nothing but the x1, x2 and x3 values here. We will now see how the matrix shapes are calculated. Okay. So for the first one, we need to calculate the shape of the input. So the input is always of the shape, input shape. We clearly know that always the zeroth layer will be the input layer. So the number of neurons or nodes in the zeroth layer, comma 1 will be the input shape. So here in this case we have 3 neurons here. So the input shape will be 3, comma 1. and the weights shape will be equal to neurons of the current layer, number of neurons in the current layer, comma, number of neurons in the previous layer. So this is nothing but the number of neurons in the current layer. So this is the layer that we are going to apply the weights for. So this is the current layer, which is the layer 1. So number of neurons in the current layer, that is the first layer, comma, the number of neurons in the previous layer. So L minus 1 is nothing but 0. So number of neurons in the first layer is 1. So we'll just write 1 here, comma, the number of neurons in the previous layer is 3. So we'll write 3 here. So the W1 shape, which is W1 shape, is 1 comma 3. So if you want to calculate the shape of W2, it is also very similar. So here also we follow the same formula. This is W2 shape will be equal to n of L comma n of L minus 1, which means this is the second layer. So this second layer we are going to calculate. So n of 2 comma n of L minus 1, which is n of 1, and the number of neurons in the second layer is 1. So this is will be of the shape 1, comma, and this will be of the shape, again there is only one neuron, so this will be 1 comma 1. So this is how shapes are calculated. I'll tell you why we are following this specific formula to calculate shapes. And the next parameter, bias. So bias shape will be, so if you are calculating bias for the first layer, then number of neurons in that layer, comma 1. So this will be the shape of the bias. So this is bias shape. So in our case, the number of neurons in the first layer is 1. So 1 comma 1 will be the bias shape. So this will be 1 comma 1. So now that we understood the shape, apply it here. Here we have W1. So W1 is of the shape 1 by 3, which means there is only one row and 3 columns. So we need to arrange these weights, these W1, W2 and W3 in the first layer, these weights in this format. So the Z of 1 equals to W1 shape is small w1 in the first layer, and W2 in the first layer, and W3 in the first layer, and closing. And now we need to write the X. So X is nothing but the input layer that we have here, and the input is of the shape 3 by 1, which means we have 3 rows and 1 column. So I'll be having 3 rows and 1 column. So that is X1, X2 and X3, and plus I have my bias here, so which is B1, and this is of the shape 1 by 1. So I'll just write it as just one element in a matrix. Now we need to multiply these matrices. So we are following this specific shape because we are going to multiply these two matrices, and matrices have a rule inside them. So this matrix is of the shape 1 by 3, and this matrix is of the shape 3 by 1, and the multiplication in matrices is only possible when the number of columns of the first matrix is equal to the number of rows of the second matrix. So only when this condition is satisfied, the matrix multiplication is possible, and the resultant matrix will be of the shape of 1 by 1. So the number of rows of the first matrix and the number of columns of the second matrix is the shape of the resultant matrix. Okay, now let us multiply these two matrices. So as we learnt in our high school, these matrices should be multiplied in a row and column wise manner. So let us multiply them both. So the first weight, that is W1 of 1, is multiplied with this X1, plus W2 of 1 is multiplied with this X2, plus W3 of 1 is multiplied with this X3. W3 of 1 is multiplied with X3, and finally we have our bias here. so which is b of 1. This is what we call as z of 1. And now you can see something that the z we calculated here is actually the exact z value we calculated here. So this is what we saw in our previous slide. So how the values are calculated. So we got the same exact value here, but in a matrix format. Actually, the computations happen only in this matrix manner. So hope you understood this, and the entire progress that is flowing through this way. So we are getting the inputs, applying the weights, multiplying them, and adding the bias. So this entire concept is called as forward propagation. So this is called as forward propagation. Cool. So I hope you like this video, and I'll meet you in next video with the explanations of all the activation functions. And if you're more interested in diving deep into this particular weights and biases topic, you can just read the papers of Geoffrey Hinton, or you can go through the works of Andrew Ng. These two awesome people have given the best contributions in this deep learning subject. So I would suggest you to definitely have a look at both of their work. And thanks for watching, guys. Meet you in the next video with all the activation functions.